I love coffee, but I feel that I'm sensitive to it, so maybe only one coffee a day seems what I can tolerate. But I'm wondering why that is. At first I thought decaffeinated would be the solution, but no, I'm not really feeling that. And then another thing I thought was cold roast, which means ultra light roast, from what I understand. But that might be the opposite of what I'm wanting, which would be low acidity. I'm not really sure. Some AI searchers have said that the more roasted it is, so a dark roast is better than a light roast because it extract does away with more acids. I don't know, because they get roasted or whatever. But I'm going to just check Google Gemini and check again. I should say that I'm doing this to find out for myself, so you know I've done a bit looking, but this is what I found out so far. I'm a bit confused. So I'm talking about instant coffee for a start, for the sensitive. And first of all, how many per day is regarded normal? Because I heard Suella Braverman the other day, British people will know her, and she was saying that she can only take one coffee a day. And I was wondering, well, why is that? But I don't know. But apparently, how many per day? The consensus seems to be about 3 or 4 cups a day. And I don't know why. Why can't you take more than that? Anyway, so, and also the question is, what are we sensitive to? Sensitive to what? The acid, the caffeine, the compounds, the heat, or sugar, dairy? So I don't know. I mean, some start to go on about low acid now. Maybe acid is a problem, especially if you have acid reflux or anything, I suppose, at the top end of your digestive system. And then caffeine's another one. I mean, nowadays it is easy to find decaffeinated coffee. I find two of the ones that I just showed you were decaffeinated. And then the next one is compounds. Is it the compounds? Because there's a lot, and they're supposed to be good for you, but if you're taking too many a day, are they bad for you? So I can't remember what they're called. They're called polyphenols and stuff now. But that's probably what gives coffee its nice flavour, that sort of stuff. It's not really the caffeine, I don't think. And then I was thinking of heat because at first I was drinking my coffees too hot, I think. So now I make sure there's a lot of, well, I make sure I put cold water in it so that you know, it's really not overly hot when I'm actually drinking it. Because I think it was too hot at first. And then could it be the sugar and dairy? Yeah, I mean it could be. I mean sugar feeds if you get small intestine bacterial overgrowth, then your microbes might be wanting a lot of sugar, and that's one way to get it. If you take 2 spoonfuls, 3, 4, whatever. Um, yeah, and then the dairy. If you take dairy in any way, that might be an issue for you. Although the general advice is that dairy helps because it's got fat in it, and that offsets the acid. I don't know, but anyway, I mean, most of them say maybe not, don't drink on an empty stomach, coffee. I don't know. So let's look at Google Gemini anyway. First I asked, well, how many cups a day? So the recommended cups a day for a sensitive stomach, acid reflux, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. If your primary issue is stomach discomfort, acid reflux, or irritable bowel symptoms, recommendation is to keep it to say 1 to 3 cups of coffee per day. Some studies suggest keeping it under 4 cups per day to reduce the risk of gastrointestinal issues. Tip: switching to an ultralight cold roast coffee, the speciality low acid kind. I don't mind, didn't say low acid, the one I was using, or a dark roast. And this seems to be the other way you can remove acids, quite a lot of acids, may allow you to tolerate more cups than a medium or blonde roast. And then the other reason for caffeine sensitivity, anxiety, jitters, insomnia. For most adults, the safe limit is about 500 milligrams of caffeine, which equates to about 4 cups of standard brewed coffee or 6 to 7 cups of instant coffee. So we're talking instant coffee here, so well, that's interesting, that's quite a lot. But anyway, nowadays you can just get away from that by using a decaffeinated coffee. So I wonder if decaffeinated will become the norm, you know. However, if you have a high sensitivity to caffeine, the limits are much lower. Highly sensitive limit 30 to 50 milligrams of caffeine per day. So for a normal person, they're saying 400 milligrams. Here they're saying 30 to 50. An instant coffee, it typically contains 30 to 60 milligrams of caffeine per cup, using 1 teaspoonful of, or is that tablespoon, powder, teaspoon actually. This means a highly sensitive person should limit themselves to 1 cup or less of instant coffee per day. But like I say, you can get decaf now, so I think decaf takes about 95% of the caffeine out. So in ultralight gold roast coffees, so we're talking ultralight here. It's not like Nescafe Gold isn't a ultralight as far as I know. They're using the name in a different way. But you do see gold roast now. It might become more common nowadays, and they're meaning ultralight. That's how you should think of it. Be extremely cautious. Some brands of this type of coffee deliberately have high caffeine content. Well, mine doesn't because it says decaffeinated. Sometimes more than a regular cup. So that's if you want to avoid caffeine, that would be thingy. So sensitivity type, depends what type you are. They're talking 67 cups you could of instant coffee a day, a normal person, for that 400 milligrams of caffeine, if that's what you're sensitive to. Yeah, so I don't know. Just what really sparked my interest of this was my own situation, and also Suella Braverman saying that she feels she can only take 1 cup of coffee a day. I don't know why. And caffeine sensitive, so sensitive stomach want of instant coffee 1 to 4 cups. Average adult 67 cups of instant coffee. Caffeine sensitive 1 cup or less. But then you can just use decaffeinated now. Okay, that's the first part. My research is all over the place. Best instant coffee type for a sensitive person, that's what I've originally asked it. It depends why this is, whether it's stomach acidity, or because your stomach is actually the top end of your digestive system is broken down into 3 bits. The stomach, which is just a sort of waiting room, a preparation room, and it's quite small. And then you've got your small intestine where most of the absorption goes on. That's a long, thin pipe that goes right down your middle. And then you've got your colon, which is just sort of recycling, but before you remove it, you know, it's a sort of waste. You can think of it as a waste site. You know, what would you call them? You know, where you do a lot of recycling now and stuff. That's what your colon's like, and that goes up your right side from your appendix, right across, and then down your left side, and then down to the removal bit at your back. So when a lot of people think they've got a sore stomach, they're actually talking about their small intestine, probably, really, because your stomach's quite small and it's up near the heart, I think. Not that high, but close. It could be that high, actually. So here are the best type of instant coffees. So you've got low acid, and then apparently this cold brewed type instant coffee, it's brewed for a long time, and that takes a lot of the acidity out. The acidic compounds, which are chlorogenic and quinic acids. So that might be even another thing you could try. This results in a smoother, less acidic cup, because I don't think the low acid probably takes these chlorogenic and quinic acids out. I don't know. Well, maybe it does. And then they're saying get Arabica bean type, because that's lower in acid than Robusta beans. That seems to be the 2 main type of beans your coffee might be made of, either Arabica or Robusta. And they're saying dark roast. Well, sometimes counterintuitive, the intense heat of a dark roast can break down some of the acidic compounds, making the coffee slightly less acidic than a light roast. But does it keep those compounds in it even if they're no longer acidic? I don't know. So yeah, that's interesting. I might try a dark roast. At the moment I'm trying ultralight gold roasts, decaffeinated. But as it says there, I thought dark roast would be the worst. But it's saying it might make it be the best. For caffeine sensitivity, so this is the next bit. Well, you can just get decaffeinated coffee now, or half cap, or light instant. I mean, why would you want caffeine? I don't know what caffeine adds to coffee. Yeah, nearly all major instant coffee brands offer a decaf option now. Yeah, and then the other idea, if you're wanting some caffeine, then you make it some of a normal coffee and some of a decaffeinated, but I don't know. So that's about the stomach acidity and caffeine anxiety. And then I asked it about, is gold roast a bad idea? Because I thought that's what they call it, but I think they're talking ultralight roast, really. The term gold roast can be confusing because it refers to two different things in the coffee world. So a gold blend is a common marketing term used by brands like Nescafe Gold Blend, etc. But that's generally a medium roast instant coffee. It's often freeze dried. From what I've saw on labels, most of my instant coffees are freeze dried now. I've not seen any of the other type. So this is what I'm really looking at. Those that are using gold roast in the term to mean ultra-light roast. This refers to a specialty roast sometimes marketed as golden ratio coffee. It's ultra-light roast, lighter than a blonde roast that is gently roasted at a lower temperature. The final coffee is light and resembles tea in colour and flavour. It's generally a very good idea for stomach sensitivity, they say, but potentially a bad idea for caffeine sensitivity. So for stomach acidity, good choice. It's maybe less acidic. Some brands claim up to 5 times less acidic than regular coffee. The very light roasting process and method are designed to be extremely gentle on the stomach, reducing the risk of acid reflux and heartburn. And then for caffeine, they're saying it's a bad idea because some of them put in more caffeine, apparently. But if you get a decaf, then that doesn't matter really, does it? So I'm still a bit confused between this and dark roast, which one would be the best? So I've just done another prompt, if you want to call it that, and it looks like dark roast is actually better than ultralight roast, which is what's called gold roast on my coffees. Here's why. Dark roast breaks down irritating acids, destruction of natural acids. During the long and hot roasting process of a dark roast, the heat breaks down the coffee beans' natural organic acids, such as chlorogenic acid, which contribute to the bright and often irritating acidic flavour, and the production of NMP. Dark roasts create a compound called N-methylpyridinium. Studies suggest NMP may actually inhibit the cells in the stomach from producing excessive hydrochloric acid, making the coffee chemically gentler on your digestive system. And point 2, light roasts retain more acids. Preserved acidity, an ultralight or blonde roast, is roasted for the shortest amount of time. This preserves more of the original organic acids in the bean, resulting in the bright, citrusy or fruity flavours that are typically associated with the high perceived acidity and can be harsher on a sensitive stomach. So a dark roast is lowest between these two for acid. Ultralight roast is highest, and impact on stomach, the dark roast is gentlest and ultralight is harshest between these two. gentlest, it contains NMP, which can suppress stomach acid secretion, whereas ultralight roast can be harshest. It retains the most organic and potentially irritating acids. Okay, so there's just the flavour profile. Other tips for low acid coffee: use a cold brew method. Cold brewing extracts significantly less of the acid compounds from the grounds, resulting in a much lower acid concentration. And coffee origin: look for beans grown at a lower altitude, such as Sumatra, Brazil or Guatemala, as they generally have lower acidity than high altitude coffees like those from Ethiopia or Kenya. Additives: adding milk or cream can help buffer the acidity, though this is not an option for everyone. What about being sensitive to coffee compounds? And the answer seems to be in relation to acidity, I think. I'm not sure. Here are the main compounds that can cause issues and how roasting or brewing can affect them. Caffeine, well, we've been through that before, and we can use decaf, so that's not really an issue. 2. Chlorogenic acids. These are the primary organic acids in the coffee bean, giving light roasts their bright flavour, but they can be a major irritant. So, really, I'm definitely going to go for dark roast now. Roast. This is why a dark roast is better. Up to 99% of CGAs can be broken down in darker roasts, significantly reducing the compound and conversion to bitter astringent acids during roasting. Oh, this is talking about the chlorogenic acids again. CGAs can break down into quinic acid and caffeic acids, which contribute bitter and astringent notes. Cold brew. A cold brewing extracts significantly fewer CGAs than hot brewing, regardless of the roast. So probably a cold brew is the best for a sensitive person to go for, I would say, especially due to acidity. I don't know if that's the reason I feel strange on thingmates, but that's what I look at for a cold brew dark roast done in a low altitude country. I don't know. And here's another thing, point 3, N-alkanoyl 5-hydroxytryptamide. So these are tryptamides we're talking about now. These compounds are found in the waxy outer layer of the green coffee bean. So they've been found to be a increased secretion of stomach acid. Who knows? But anyway, how roast brewing affects it. Dark roast advantage. Interestingly, a dark roast produces a different compound, N-methylpyridinium, which researchers believe works to inhibit stomach acid production. This ratio of low tryptamides to CGAs, chlorogenic acids, and high NMP is why dark roast is often recommended for sensitive stomachs. So, if you're sensitive to coffee compounds, the dark roast remains your best starting point, but consider these additional steps. Choose decaf. Yeah, I do. Brew cold. This method dramatically reduces the extraction of both organic acids and other irritating oils, providing a smoother, less aggressive cup. And don't drink on an empty stomach. Consuming food alongside your coffee helps buffer the acids and spread the stimulant effects over a longer period. And avoid additives. Sugars, flavoured syrups and high-fat creamers may exacerbate symptoms for some people. So this is what I think I've learnt, even though I'm not really sure I have learnt anything, but yeah, or I've not absorbed it in a thingy way. Maybe I have, I don't know. But my aim, I'm going for decaffeinated, obviously. It won't surprise me in a few years if they say, oh, you need caffeine actually, because it blends with the other stuff in a sort of chemically way or something. I don't know, you know what I mean? But for now, I'm taking decaffeinated for sure. Cold brew. This looks to be pretty important. I didn't realise this. I think this is probably going to be more expensive I've not really seen cold brew out in the instant coffee aisles. I've seen it in the ones you can buy in the chilled section that, you buy the liquid, but they're really expensive. Dark roast. So this is a big surprise to me. I thought it'd be the opposite. I thought it'd be ultra light roast, but it looks like dark roast is better because it seems to destroy the acids or something. And they say, I don't think these things are as important. I don't know, but Arabica bean rather than rustica, or whatever they call it, and low altitude countries, Brazil rather than high altitude ones like Ethiopia or whatever. I think most of them are Brazil in the shops, aren't they? I don't know. Anyway, do your own research, so I hope this was useful.